Hi everybody. I've been asked in the past, what I use for setup, how I record. So I figured maybe I would run through and also show kind of how you can do this on a budget. If you're getting started, maybe you have a couple of songs that you really want to try and record. You want to start writing your own music. So you have a cool chord progression or for whatever reason you want to record, but you're not quite sure how to get started. You don't know what you need. So I figured I would run through what I use, but then also some really bare bones kind of basic things that you would need on how to get started. So the very first basic thing that you would need is something to plug your computer in, the guitar into the computer. So you can do this with a straight audio interface, so it's like a direct input from your guitar to the computer, and it usually hooks up through a USB port. There's a lot of really cheap ones here. I see, what is this? This is pretty good, 30 bucks. Looks like it's got a USB. Plug your guitar into that side, I think. There you go. And it comes out that end through USB, so that's a perfectly viable option. It's only $30. So that's pretty awesome. Now I'm also going to assume you already have a guitar and a cord for this and a computer. If not, I mean, those are probably better starting points, but I figured if you're somewhere where you've been writing and you're ready to record, you probably have a guitar. I mean, you don't need a very powerful computer, but yeah, no need to get fancy with the computer. So what I actually use is I have a Spark amp. So I bought this for practicing initially. I really like it, but one of the features I really liked on it is it has a USB output, and this acts as my audio interface. The whole amp will go directly into the computer through a USB port. So I like that, and there's some advantages to having it done this way. There are also advantages of having a direct input, and I'll go through those with you, but first step is to have a way to connect the guitar to the computer. So once you have a way to connect the guitar to the computer, you need what's known as a DAW, or a digital audio workstation. And this is basically something that's going to take the signal and plot it into the computer where you can then process it. So the best free one I think this is probably the only free one that I know of that has like some effects and some pretty decent tools in it, is called Audacity. And this is a straight bare bones recording. You can see at the top here, record. If you have your audio set up, recording day, so you make sure that you have the one that you have hooked up to your computer selected. As soon as you hit record, it just goes. So pretty straightforward. And you can do multiple tracks on this. I used this for a little while when I was getting stuff, like really rough stuff down, but it's pretty good. So you can have multiple tracks going, and it works well if you want to just mess around. Let's say right, and then you want to add a solo to it. Oops. Easy stuff. It has a lot of built-in effects. These are all built in, so you can process a little bit further. If you have a direct input, I'm going to touch on how you can get a nice guitar amp tone through using Ableton, because there's a free VST that you can use, but I wasn't able to get it to work with Audacity for some reason. If I find out a way, I'll put it in a video, but until then I think you're going to have to stick with these. But you can still do a lot, so you want to normalize it. So we got it normalized now, and we'll add a compressor. You can just leave it at the default. See, it did its thing, compressed it. Normalize it once more if you want. So now we have a little bit louder. Of course I did that to the rhythm track, but who cares. But you can do a lot of stuff on here. There's echo, and you can preview it as well if you want to hear. So I'll put phaser on there. It's pretty cool. You can do a lot with it, and it's free. So if you had your direct input, you know, you spent $30 on there, you can download this for free, and you've already started for $30, $30 to $50, depending on which one of these you buy. So I use a program called Ableton, and it does cost money, but luckily they have different tier options, as we can see here. This is Ableton Live 12. I think I have 11. I never really saw the point in upgrading because I like 11, and I don't really need 12. It does have a couple other things, but that aside, you can get this for, it's $109 Canadian. I know there's tax and some other fees that might be attached to this, but for $110, it's a very powerful tool, and I would definitely recommend it if you have it in your budget. There's a little bit more of a learning curve, but like I said, the end result will just be, in my opinion, a lot better using Ableton. Just you can use Audacity to start. Maybe you can get the hang of just even recording, because that in itself could be a learning curve, and then further down the road you can be like, okay, I want to start taking this a little more seriously. Then you can get Ableton, but Ableton's pretty good. You know, you can set your tempo, so we'll set it at 120. You just hit record, and you make sure that you have your input device on your audio interface, whichever one you have. Mine's the Spark, and the output, whichever one you want. If you had headphones, you can switch it or whatever, but I'm gonna leave it. And then you just got the click track. Okay, so we got a recording. Oh, I left the model on, that's why. Okay. So we have a raw signal here. So I guess we'll get to the first, let's say you had a direct input. You didn't have any sort of guitar tone, because my Spark has a little bit of compressor, has some reverb on there. So what you could do is get the Neural Amp Modeler VST. So what you do there is you would download it from the website. Just go to Windows Installer, and that should take care of the VST portion as well. Neural Amp Modeler VST. And then from there, you're going to need to get an amp model. So you can go to tonehunt.org. And from there, we'll just go to models and just see what's available. Okay. Let's check this one out. Brown sugar. That's download that one. So what you do is once you download it, you have it, it comes in a zip folder, so you have to extract it somewhere. So just anywhere on your computer that you want to save your presets for these, you can get so many different amp models. Just put them all into one folder, and from there, once you load up the VST, so let's say I didn't have this in there, just go to your plugins on the side, Steven Atkinson, and then it opens up. What you need to do is go to the bottom and hit the folder button, and you can see these are all of the presets that I have. Just double click. It doesn't sound good all the time right off the bat. You have to adjust these, but it'll now run it through there. So you can hear it. I have a little bit of a crunchiness to it. Kind of cool. But yeah, so that's how you would use it. If you had a direct input, it would probably be a little bit more accurate to the amp tone. Like I said, I have recorded this through the Spark, which has some effects on it already. You can set Ableton to, basically when you play, it will now play through the DAW. And then in turn, you can have it play through your VSTs. So if you had a direct input, you could get it to play through the Neural Amp Modeler. So you don't have to record anything straight. You can get an idea of what it's going to sound like, but I do think you need a little bit of a somewhat powerful computer for that. I know that mine couldn't do that, so that's another benefit of having the Spark, is that I know that when I record, I'm just recording it to the click or the track on the DAW, and then it's good to go. That's basically how you could record on a budget, and just an idea of what I do for recording. I'll probably do a couple more tutorials on how to get my guitar tone, maybe how to do my recording, maybe even writing process. All of the stuff that's on my Spotify is recorded with Ableton, and this version of it, all using free plugins. I don't pay for anything. I don't have any plugins that are expensive. I have free versions of everything, and I think it works pretty well. That's just a quick how-to on Get Started, and hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, I mean, I hope I get you one step closer to making your own music.